Expect these remarks to be brief. We'll see if he takes questions. Obviously, we've seen some.
Yeah, but
I'm no particular friend of his.
okay. You wanted to.
Put it into mealtime newbies. Long John Silver's family meals. Mix and match chicken and fish.
They'll see you.
See you. They on news. On that background.
Whatever has to suit me 7 minutes and I can talk, I make it. Are you talking?
Says I'm muted. I don't know. It's not easy.
Yeah. So you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's all brought up.
Good source. In the White House too, have been reporting on this all day.
No, yeah, you are.
I know exactly what's gonna happen. Because
Did you call me red?
Mike,
Oh,
Mike,
you know?
Mike,
Open.
Mike does not want to be commissioner. Well, yeah, because
Well, okay, what I was saying was, can you ask, ultrasound?
nobody knows what the time is. You know, last year, all the time, people asked the law. They did nothing else to do, call it conflict. Understand that, Bobby said, Walter, I don't mind helping with you. Like, call Bobby, how long? Oh, 4 more times. We'll see. I know Mike's answer. Mike said, fuck her.
I know.
So,
You don't do it.
so, Bobby said, maybe where you should call and everything. And Mike goes, you want to call, when I'm calling, you're not calling for me, I don't care.
Oh. Another one of my favorites.
I'm gonna press on anyhow. Yeah, I hear you. Hey, I hear you right now. Ooh, it's praying time. Glory to be. I see you, Mr. Shelton. Ha! I said praying time. I'm gonna press on.
That's the preacher. We have a guy who's in the association, thinks he's a preacher.
Hey, that's all right now. Oh, my. Oh, we're down to 1 minute. Okay. Uh-oh, what didn't happen? Oh, okay. I'm gonna press on anyhow.
Great word.
Hey!
Back, Kurt.
I praise him.
Yeah, we gotta keep doing that.
Hey, praise him.
Yeah. For today. Back, Kurt. Great word. They got going on.
Hey, how you doing there, Myers? Myers, how are you? Miss Myers? Is that on me?
I'm not hear you now.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey guys, those of you that are on, this has been Tom.
Thank
Bell will
you.
be on me shortly, but
Thank
just
you,
make
Mr.
sure
Holmes.
phones on mute. Come on. unless you're speaking, because it gets, you know, obviously maybe a lot of people, but just make sure you keep it on mute unless you speak.
Events, how are they taking, what do you call it,
Attended.
count that you're at the meeting?
We'll let you know in a few minutes. We'll let you know who's that speaking. We'll let you know in a few minutes.
I think that was
It's
Lance.
Lance Travell.
Okay, all right. Couldn't recognize the voice.
Yeah, that was
No
Lance.
problem.
Yeah. Once Travell comes on, you know, he'll explain all of that.
Travell, if you can't recognize that voice, something's really wrong.
That's Paul Compton. I recognize his voice.
Exactly.
A very distinct voice.
Very distinct. Welcome back, Chris. Travell, nice background.
Yeah, it still didn't come out. I'm gonna have to fix it for next time. It's still too big. I'm gonna try to make sure it's a little smaller.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Maria.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
How's it going, Val? How's it going?
How you doing, Lucas?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Can't complain.
Hey, Travell, it's Geller.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello?
There's Chris Matthews is here.
Hey, Ron Jacobson's sitting next to me, too. He's having a hard time pulling it up on his computer.
Okay.
Doesn't like me.
So we want credit for 3 meetings.
Yeah, but Chris, that's not social distancing, so you get credit for none.
He's 6 feet away. You just can't see it. And I'm eating.
Chris, what's going on?
What's up, brother? How you been?
I'm good.
Good to see you, man.
You know it, another year.
So while we're waiting, we'll just give a few more minutes for folks to get in. But how we're going to take attendance? If you just type your name in the chat, we're recording this here call, and then we're able to print out that chat to see. So just take a few minutes. If you can't type it in, just let me know, and I'll mark you down as being here. I do have the attendance record, but just
Where
put your name
is
down.
chat at?
The chat is at the bottom, or it depends on where you're on your. It should be at the bottom. You'll see participants. You see chat. There's a little box called a chat box.
Suspense.
It may just be under more.
What have you been doing about the people who called in on the phone?
I'm like, it's for you. I already got your list. I got you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm on my phone to announce you nothing say chat. So
If you can't do it, just I got your name. I'm got you and Maria. I have you.
There's no, you got you on there?
I got my daughter too is sitting here. Sakaya is sitting here with me too.
Does anyone else want to know why Jonathan Goodman's wearing a mask as he walks around his house?
We just thought it was in order.
Ms. Chevelle, when is
Yes.
show? Right now?
I got you, sir.
Okay.
You got me, Demetrius Sherrod? You got me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
What's up, D?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, in case of you guys didn't see it, I called Travell today. Iowa is finishing their high school baseball and softball season.
Wow.
That's because they're already at 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, I'd like to see how they're going to do that since the rest of the Big Ten isn't. So who are they going to play?
No, Iowa high school.
High school.
Oh, okay.
It's not
How's
like
it going, Chris?
Man, I like that background.
Yeah.
Says the meeting's not valid.
Thank you.
Tavell, what's going on?
Hey, Leon, I got you.
What's up, Dirty Red?
It's not.
What's up, Chris? You looking young for that, buddy. You looking good, bro. You ready for the season?
Dropped 13 pounds, baby.
Damn,
Wow.
bro. Whoa. How does it feel?
Rode 21 miles on the bike yesterday.
Man, that bike is good for you, bro. That's good. So how you feel, bro?
They tell you you have to hit chat to sign in. I don't know. I hit chat. I don't know how to do this.
I got you, Larry.
Oh, okay, thanks, T.
Tavell, yeah, I see, right?
The host won't get to me yet.
Ooh.
Hey, do we have G Bell in the OR in the hospital?
Ooh.
Garrett Bell.
Really?
Welcome, brother.
Oh, there we are. I've been let in.
Yeah, fellas, I'm sitting here in the ER working. Oh, you working? Oh, okay. Yeah. We thought you were checked in. Nah.
Not.
What's going on, Bill?
Not much, Snyder. How you doing now?
Yeah, I saw Leon pop up. Hi, Leon. How are you?
Again, those that are coming in, if you could just for meeting attendance, just type your name in the chat box. If you cannot type it, just let me know. But I'll get everyone marked in as being attendance on the call.
There we go.
I just want to throw a special shout out because if I'm reading this correctly, Yetta Green is on this call, and that shows you what kind of year it's been, because I would never of a million years figure that Yetta would know how to use Zoom.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
I heard that, and I've gotten quite proficient at it.
You'd have to.
Greeny. It says Greeny.
Wow.
All right.
You're too young to remember about the email.
All right, we have 49. Hold on, one more person is coming in. Let's see here.
Audio check for me. Can you hear me?
I got you, Evan. I got you.
You the man. Thank you. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, I am. And you?
Over
All
the-
right. Wonderful. We're going to get started here. So again, we're going to go ahead and mute everyone at this time. And what we're going to do, we're going to start out with the, I'm going to go to kind of a PowerPoint. So I'm going to go from share my screen so we can go through the PowerPoint that'll kind of give us what we're going to talk about for today. But again, welcome everybody. It's so good to see everybody that's on this here call. And I'm hoping that everybody's been safe, staying healthy, and all of your families as well. And so again, it's beginning to look a little bit like football season, but we don't know what that's going to look like come the fall. All right, so here we go. Let me try to share this screen. All right. All right, so this is our first general meeting that we are mandated to have according to our ECFOA bylaws. All right. So just a reminder, just those that are on the call, just a couple, I emailed this out earlier, but make sure you are, again, muted. I have the, power to try to mute everyone, but again, if you do have any questions, you can put them in the chat box. I will have Vince to keep a check on the chat box for me, if any questions. But we will allow, if, when we get to a point where you have questions to ask, that you can unmute yourself and ask questions. Okay. So kind of our meeting agenda that we'll have for today, we're just going to go through a quick welcome, kind of our upcoming season plans, get a secretary's report, treasurer's report, a signer's update, school district update, and then our training coordinators updates. And I need to make sure anybody that's trying to get in here, hold on, it's hard to. Just a second here. Stop sharing for a quick second. Just want to make sure nobody else is coming in. All right, here we go. Again, we want to take a minute to introduce all of our, again, those that don't know, all of our board of directors. Again, of course, I'm Travell Norton, your president. Our vice president is Vince Holmes. Our treasurer is Mr. Justin Lucas. Our secretary is Mike Ronaldo. Our members at large is Lee Mowry, Greg Kirkwood, and Mark Ostroff. Our past president is Mr. Jeff Geller. Our training coordinator is Corey Brown. And our assigner is Mr. Bernard Arnett. So the question is, again, as you can see, will there be high school football this fall? So we've received some guidelines from the National Federation, and basically just reminding us to have a little patience, because the states and the local districts are putting plans together to hopefully do something for this upcoming season. But they have put together some guidelines that the states and the districts can utilize as they begin their preparations for some type of fall sports program. There's no timetables or protocols there, have been set yet, according to what I know at this time. But I do have a meeting scheduled with the district on tomorrow. And we'll get a little bit more information as kind of what is their, plans, what are their, some timetables, what some dates, and what can we expect reasonably for this upcoming season. But we do know that our district, they're still making plans as it relates to the academic portion for the fall, as it relates to the schools. They're looking at plans where the, students may be, still doing virtual learning and maybe on the campus part days. So I think that's their first priority at this time. And then they're, of course, still trying to figure out what it's going to look like for the after school programs, athletics, and other things that they do as far as, activities. So they're still working on those plans. The FSA still has put out that they are, they're moving, they're still making plans for this season. The dates, official starting dates for the season is supposed to be July 27th. But as we get closer to that date, we'll get some updates on, more specific plans of what's going to happen for the season. But I think that, the key thing for everybody here is just, again, we just have to practice a little more patience, and we'll see what comes out. Once that comes out, we'll make sure we share that with everyone at our upcoming meetings. We'll make sure we want to keep everyone in the loop. But like I say, the conversations are happening. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. But again, across the state, it may look a little differently at each district, but again, they want to have the FSA is going to have something, because again, it's going to, whatever happens in one part is going to affect all. So we'll see what happens with that. So, but for us, we're going to continue to prepare if the season will start in the fall. So we're going to do our normal operations. We're going to do our normal preparations that we do. One of the things that we're going to work on as a board is to, once, get some clear guidelines on how do we as an association, US members, be prepared and have some guidelines for when you go back on that field. Because we know that the schools are going to make preparation as it relates to the fields, the facilities, and so forth, but they may not always think about the officials. So we want to put together some guidelines based upon CDC recommendations, just to make sure you guys have the most up-to-date information and you're prepared when you are getting ready to go on that field. Because the priority is making sure that you're safe and that you are kept healthy. We don't need any guy that, again, we don't want to put our members in any type of risk. But at the end of the day, you know your own self, you know your own history, and you know your own health conditions. And so you may have to make some individual choices based upon, how you want to move forward this season. I think we're going to allow for that type of flexibility because, again, we don't want anyone at any type of risk. But what we're encouraging through this season, during this summer months, is, again, we know that your children, I know the last day of school was on Friday, but we want to continue virtual learning for you. So this is a good time to take, advantage of looking at videos, Huddle, looking at articles that are being, we're going to try to update the website with some articles and some videos, but looking at the National Federation and FSAAA, they're going to be putting out things. I'm going to show you how to access that at the end of this call. So you can, again, you want to keep, again, getting in that rule book and taking the time out, doing this here downtime, or we may not be able to go as, move about as we normally would, to get that time to still keep your skills up, expand your knowledge, and get prepared for the season. One of the good things that some of us may be working from home, so you may have a lot more extra time. So this is definitely a good time to really, expand, utilize virtual learning. And then one of the things that's being offered by the FSCAA is their virtual clinics. And so they've started last week, and I'm going to share with you some how to access those clinics, how to get registered for them. So you will have access to, use this time to expand your learning knowledge and your, those mechanics. We will continue for the next, definitely June and July, to have our general meetings and trainings. They'll be through this Zoom call. So looks like everybody didn't, we have about 50 some folks on the call. So hopefully, we'll touch base with those that may be having some struggles getting on, but we want to try to be as flexible and try to help out as many folks as possible, that they don't have any barriers that's getting connected to Zoom, because we know technology is not everybody's strong suit, and that's the reality, So I've had to learn some things as myself, but again, we want to make sure everybody has access to this here. The other part of that, if you have any issues with our website, Mark Ostroff is our webmaster. If you don't have access to that, please get in contact with him. He can, maybe at our next meeting, he can walk us through just some things, how to get through the different parts of the website. But again, if you do not have access, please connect with Mark Ostroff via email or phone call. What we are looking for, and we're hoping that can happen, is that we can plan for August field clinic training and evaluation. So we're looking at if there's going to be an opportunity maybe for us to get together, we're planning for something in August that can be outside, still practicing social distancing, but utilizing that time to, work on our field mechanics. One of the things that we've been working on, and we're going to present to the body in the next month or so, is going to be around our evaluation pilot program for this year. The board has been working in the off season to put some stuff together, and we just finalized some things. And so we're going to be able to try to roll this out for August. But that was one of the things, if you guys remember at the end of last season, we did a survey at our last meeting, and the highest thing on that list that you asked us to work on in the off season was an evaluation and ranking system for us. And so we've heard you, and we've done that. And so we're going to roll out, the kind of what we put together, kind of how we're going to move forward. But it is a pilot. It's something that we're going to be just, it's a trial basis, because again, we just don't throw it out here. We're just saying it, assuming that it's going to work, but we're going to pilot it for this year. So we're going to be able to roll that out to you within the next couple of weeks. And then one of the things that we did say that we're going to delay our local registration and dues until the end of July. What the board decided is that we, just in case they decide at some moment they may not, or we get more information, we don't want to collect monies and then come find out that something different may happen. So we just want to delay our local registration till the end of July. Now, the FSAAA, I believe, is from what I heard, is going to be opening up their registration July 1st, but that has not been confirmed. We do have a leadership meeting on June the 13th. So I will definitely have more information about that and even more details as kind of how we're going to move forward. So that information will be definitely available to you in our next meeting. So I know some of you are really itching to try to get registered, but take your time. The key word is patience. We have set up for you guys, even through our website, so you'll be able to register and pay your dues all electronically. So that was something we want to make sure you have easy access to be able to do for this upcoming season. I did put in one of our last emails that for those folks that signed up and registered and did games for flag football this past spring, we'll be waiving your fee for flag football. So if you did flag football in March, right during the time that we went into the COVID and they canceled all the games and season, you will get a waiver for your flag football dues. But we will remind you of that when we get to that point. But I just want to make sure, because I know some folks kind of like to jump at it and start paying and doing stuff, but I want you to be aware of it. But again, you'll get to that point. So there's no rush in us trying to get local registration at this particular time. Okay. Let's see. So I paused for a few minutes before we get into the other areas. Are there any questions? If there are any questions, just general questions that anybody might have, if you want to put in the chat box, or if you can unmute yourself and ask the question. And I can't see. A couple of people raised their hands, so if you want to go ahead and speak, I can't see who those are, but if you can take a few moments, hold on, let's see if I can.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Maria.
First of all, good evening, gentlemen. My question is, what day will the purchase officials be coming, and will they be coming for us to purchase some things?
That's a good question. We have not set it up because, again, with us doing Zoom meetings. So what we possibly could do, and once I get, I could touch base with Fred, if we, as we get maybe in that August meeting, we will try to have them. But if not, we can get this information and share it on the website. You may have to just make a ride down there because at this time, the school district is completely closed, meaning that they're not allowing anyone to go on their school campuses or in their admin building on Forest Hill. So we don't have physically a place to go to, be able to host our general meetings anyway. So however, we'll look to, if nothing changes in the next month or so, we will definitely look to, you may have to contact them individually, or we may have to set up something for that August time, but we'll, that will be, I'll put that on as a note, and we'll try to, come up with a plan for that. But thank you for that reminder.
Thank you.
Hey, Travell.
Yes,
Vince
sir.
here.
Uh-huh.
Neil Orton is asking about the Just for Lunsford registration. So maybe you can address that.
Yes.
That came via the chat log.
Yeah. So what at this time, as you say, the district is closed, and so they're not doing any background screening. So some of you may be up for renewals. And so Yella's probably going to talk about that when I give her opportunity to speak. But at this time, they may work out something for those that need to be renewed. They may push it back a year, but we'll have to get some more information, so that we'll keep that as a note of something that needs to be followed up on. But when Yella gets ready to do her update, she may have some more information around that. But at this current time, the district is, that they are not, they're not doing any background screenings at this time. There is talk about maybe utilizing other providers, and we're not at that point yet. So just, we'll get back to you. I'm gonna let you know once we have more information. But that's a good question. Thank you.
Okay, Travell, next chat question. If someone, will they have the opportunity to pay in person if they cannot or choose not to pay online?
Yes, so we will set, when we get to that point toward July, we will set up definitely, again, we want to make sure, we know that sometimes some folks are not comfortable with paying online, or they don't, we will set up something for you to be able to pay in person. And so we'll look at multiple opportunities. I know in the past we've had, people to drop stuff off together, but we will set up something once we get to that point for you to pay in person.
Okay, no chat questions.
All right. Any other general questions, just as anything on your mind that you wanted to share, or just wanted before we move on into our different reports and updates? Okay, great. All right, we're moving forward. Is Mike Ronaldo on the call? I don't know if he's on the call. Mike, you on the call? Okay, Mike is not on the call. So just again, those of you come in late, make sure you type your name in the chat box. That will serve as your signature and make sure you get your meeting credit for being a part of this meeting. So go ahead, and if you cannot do it, if you're calling in, you can let me know. You can let me know what your name, holler out your name, and I'll make sure we mark you down. But if you cannot, again, go into the chat box, type your name. If you're not able to do that because of a phone call, you can unmute yourself at this time, and I will make sure I will get you marked as being present.
Hey, Travell, I got another chat question.
Okay.
The question is, I heard on the FHSA Zoom telecast that the state is still going with the new fees for next year. What is the state in Palm Beach County?
So that's a good question. So again, that the new fees are going into effect. Each district will work with, most of the districts, in this here state have looked at, asking about, maybe either splitting the fees into multiple years or whatever that may be. But the board has been adamant that the district has always paid at the max rate, and we expect to be paid at the max rate for this year. And so we're not at a point where we're, the FSAAA is not going to be mandating anything. They have set the fees for this upcoming year, and the association will work out with the district as it relates to how they implement it. But at this year time, it's in the interest of what we believe it for the board standpoint is that we are expecting, and we have communicated that to the district in our last conversation around that, and around that we expect to be paid at the max rate for this upcoming year. We do know that, a lot of them, have issues as, they're trying to work out their budget issues. But we understand that this is something that has been a long time in the making. And, and we have been underpaid for a number of years. And so we expect, and we have communicated that we will be paid at the max rate for this upcoming year. Any other comments, questions? This is good stuff. Again, we do have our board meeting agendas have been posted on our website. We will get the minutes uploaded to the website hopefully by the end of this week, so you can go into our, to get updated on some of our things that we've discussed and made some decisions on in our board meetings here in the off season. But the agendas are posted, but our meeting minutes have not been posted. So we will get those posted by the end of this here week. Are there any other questions as it relates to our secretary's reports?
Hey, Travell, 2 other questions.
Okay.
The first one is reference to the first and second year. Who's going to be doing the training for that?
We will get, when we get to our training coordinators update, you'll get that information.
Okay, and then the other question, which is, may not be relevant at this time, but will the Palm Beach County School District move games back to 7 p.m.? And obviously we don't know that at this time because.
Right. Yeah, we have not had that discussion. That was, and so I don't, like I said, we've not, like I said, I'll have a meeting tomorrow, but I don't know if that's even been something that they have been, that they were even considering. So, but again, that's not something, that's something we could bring back up if that's where they were headed. Because I know a lot of us, prefer that 7 o'clock p.m. time frame based upon our jobs and so forth. but we have not had any conversations at this time. We're just really more so even if it's going to be any games for this upcoming year. Good questions though, but I will have that as a note to follow with the district. All right, any other questions before we move on to our treasurer's report? All right, we're going to turn it over to Justin. Justin, you on the call? I thought it was Justin Lucas.
Yeah, good evening, Travell. Thank you. Just to run through our quick treasurer's report as of today. You see it on the screen. Our operating account, $8,230.45. Our ECFOA arbiter pay account, $109.76. For total revenues of $8,340.21. What that is not showing is we still have 2020 flag football, admin fees that are still pending to be received, and then also the private schools, 11 schools for football. Any questions about the report? Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. We will have a report from, we'll have just Bernard come to give us talk from the assigners update, and then we'll have Yella give us a school district update.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope all is well with you and the families, as well as we expected under the conditions that we're under. As far as the assignment process, it is our intention to utilize the arbiter assigning tool once again. We are hoping to be more proficient in doing so. However, with most systems such as an arbiter, it's as effective as the information that you put in it. So therefore, we really are hoping to get a greater buy-in from the association for members, as far as inputting your closed dates, coming in a timely manner to accept your assignments. If you really hadn't talked much to the board, but we have to start looking at the fact that if I am opening up, if I'm not putting in my closed dates, if I'm consistently turning back assignments, then it needs to really be handled through the association as to what we're going to do. I talked briefly to Bob about how other associations do. If you're not putting in closed dates and you're constantly declining assignments, there's associations that look at penalizing you for not taking care of your business. It's not really to grab up to individuals that have emergencies or situations that comes up. We understand that that's just normal, operating procedures, that you can have that. But if consistently you are not closing your dates and you're really just kind of killing everybody's time by showing available and you're not, then that's something that we want to look at possibly addressing. That's the best there. We want to be more communicable as far as getting our timelines met so that your games are all in the system in a timely manner so that the pays are set. And we need the help of the White Hats, obviously, and not only confirming their crews, but even after the fact, verifying when they go back in after the game that it didn't get there wasn't any last minute switches, so that we can make sure that the proper people are paid timely. Any questions reference to the assigning?
No questions?
Okay, well, I appreciate you guys. Looking forward to working with you this fall.
Thank you, Bernard. School district update, Yetta, it's Yetta Green.
Yes. I just want to say how good it is to hear your voices. I wish we were sitting in the cafeteria and could see each other. We've all been, I think, a little removed from each other, but it's just so good to hear everybody's voice and all your planning and everything. I wish I had more definite information. I don't. I know Travell has a meeting with my boss, but I'm not certain what extra she's going to know tomorrow either. And I think you all need to understand that the way the extra activities are going to look basically depends on how the school day is going to look. And they haven't really made a decision on how the academic day is going to be presented. You know, if they talk about social distancing in the classrooms and things like that, they would have to, you know, cut every classroom size in half. Somebody said, well, some kids could come on Monday and Wednesday, some kids could come on Tuesday and Thursday, you know, and I don't know if they're going to go with that. How many people are ready to send their kids back to school? So there are a lot of things that have to be decided on the school academic day that then is going to impact how do we therefore put in our athletic and activities programs. So again, Travell kept saying, and the lady from the National Federation of High Schools has said, patience is a big thing. And that's what it's going to take. I mean, our teachers are supposed to return to school on August 3rd, and our students come as early as August 10th this year. I think that's an ambitious date, but I understand they're going to send some surveys out and see where people stand, and kind of asking parents. I mean, you know, we've heard a lot of parents say, you know, that they're not ready for their kids to come back to school. So they could do homeschool, they could continue their own, you know, virtual training. So there's just a lot that's going to depend on what we do. Right now, the FHSAA says their first practice date is July 27th, as it was always set up. One thing that our coaches are concerned about is if they aren't allowed to do any kind of activity at all with their kids until that date, then they need a little bit more time when that first real practice date starts to get ready to play. You know, the kids have been sitting around all this time. Right now, our students are not allowed, our students or teachers or me or anybody, we're not allowed on the school campuses or on the district office building or anything like that. I'm still hoping maybe they'll open that up a little bit and let some of the fields be used and things of that sort, but they haven't, and they haven't said that there's going to be anything this summer. So, you know, I know a lot of you got excited. How many of you heard the governor say something about summer camps and youth activities? And some people took that to mean school, but it didn't mean school. It meant youth activities and youth athletics kind of thing. So generally, until they kind of decide what they're going to do with the school day, I will give you the basic start dates. I know some of you do want to look at your calendars. The kickoff classics are scheduled for August the 14th. If they're all on that Friday, and the last play date is actually October 30th this year, with Halloween being that next Saturday. So that's the span of time that the football season right now encompasses. Now, I've heard some things that say, you know, they could give football a late start and let it extend further. They could shorten the season. There are all kinds of options out there. And it's not going to be decided at my level. So I guess we all just have to, you know, sit back and wait. But we know that everybody's concerned. And I think everybody knows how important the activities and the athletics are to the students in the school. You know, we want to get back that relationship with the coaches and the students and the referees and all working together as an athletic community. So one thing I'm really pleased with is how many of you guys are out there listening and tuned in to see what's going to happen. Travell, anything that I missed in a general introduction there?
No, you got it all. Yeah, as always. Again, we appreciate what what you've done for the association and the district as always. So
Okay.
thank you.
Let me address one thing about the fingerprinting.
Sure.
We have right now, because there is a hiring freeze for staff in the district, they haven't had the need to open up their fingerprint office just for us. And I heard you say something about you could look about doing the fingerprinting elsewhere. For the Jessica Lunsford fingerprinting, it has to be a group that is contracted by somebody to do it by a school district because it's a special database. So I really hope that our fingerprint office will open up, even if the general building is not opened, but maybe by appointment only. You only come into the front lobby and go right into fingerprinting. But I really don't know. I wouldn't panic too much about the date on your Jessica Lunsford badge right now, because they have extended, the state, they've extended like the expiration of teaching certificates that were mainly expire on June 30th. They're giving them a couple extra months. So that might be, you know, in the offing too. So just hang on. We do have the least expensive fingerprinting fee in the state. So you might want to hang on a little bit, and I'm sure we'll be open in time to take care of things. But we'll let you know as soon as they do. If they do open the fingerprint office as a lobby appointment only, we will get back to you. I heard a question about the time schedule. Did someone say something, Travell, you all?
Yeah, they asked about if the school district was considering maybe going back to 7 o'clock.
I can tell you that right now, they have not been looking at going back to the 7 o'clock. They like the 6:30 time. They think it gets them in and gets them out at a decent hour. They're not there that late, and the kids are not going home that late. But, you know, anything could change. We have no idea, even if we do have athletics, are we going to have to, you know, there've been questions. Are we going to have to limit the number of people we let in the stands? Are we going to, you know, how are we going to transport the team? We usually transport the team in 2 or 3 buses. If we show social distance on the buses, are we going to have 6 or 8 buses to take our team, even just if it's down the road? You know, so there are all kinds of things that we still have to consider. And, but we understand what an important role you guys play. So as soon as we know something, we'll convey it to you and get it there. But it's not going to be an answer tomorrow or the next day, because realistically, they have to figure out what they're going to do with the academic program. I mean, if they had kids, for example, even if they went to a double session, a morning and an afternoon, or if they went to an every other day or 2 days, this group comes and 2 days that group comes, that would impact practices, because kids would have to come to practice maybe on days that they're not in school, or they would finish school earlier in the morning or in the afternoon and have to hang around for practice. So all of those configurations will impact how our athletic programs can practice and do. But we all know how important it is, and important to you guys and important for the whole athletic community. So I'm sure everybody's working on that. I will unofficially echo Travell that this district has traditionally always paid the maximum fee that the FHSA has put out there. That's what we said we would support. I'm hoping, I mean, we know it's going to be a tight year with finances, but that's something that I feel like, I'm not speaking for the district now, that we committed to, and that's the way we're looking right now. I mean, that's the way everybody's looking right now. That has not been targeted as an issue at this time. I think, does that sound like an okay thing to say? So that's where we are. Anything else general that people have questions? We are collecting football schedules, and we're collecting the football schedules with the Kickoff Classic scheduled on August the 14th. I think that's an ambitious date, you know, because it just takes acclimatization is what the state calls it for our athletes before they can play. And if they've been sitting home, and really depends how much they're allowed to do even before the, you know, July 27th official practice date. They can't practice, but they usually are doing some conditioning and things of this sort, which right now they can't do any of. So we have to get that up first. Again, I'm excited to be here with you guys, even though we're not all together. And I really look forward to getting back and working with all of you again. It's a big part of my life. You guys are part of my family. And I'm just excited about seeing you all and being with you all again. Thank you.
Thank you, Yetta. Okay, thank you. Before we move to our training coordinators, are there any more questions? Was there anything else in the box, Vince, in the chat?
Vince, a question was asked about COVID-19 testing for us.
Say that again.
A question was asked about COVID-19 testing for us before games.
So that still hasn't been determined. So, like I say, that's what we're going to work on to see, what that looks like and what we're able to do. More than likely, we'll probably connect you to local resources that are able to help that. But again, that is something we'll keep under advisement. We'll keep you updated on.
Hey, Travell.
Yes, sir.
I got a couple of chat questions for you here.
Okay.
The first one is, will this meeting be video and added to the website? If yes, will the viewer be able to receive credit for attendance?
All right. So, as from a technical standpoint, this meeting is being recorded. However, I don't know if I can. I will try. I will work on if I can. Any of those techno folks out there, maybe Aaron or someone. I can find out how to take the recording and maybe I can place it on there. I do know I will put the PowerPoint on there, but I will definitely try to see if we can get it on the website. I don't know how we can get them to show credit for that, but like I say, the board has said, we're not, we know that over these next month or so, we know it'll be a challenge for some folks to get on Zoom due to technical issues. So we're gonna definitely be flexible as it relates to attendance over these next couple, trainings, because we do know it may be some technical challenges for some. But we will, if we can get on the website, we will. I don't know how I can give someone credit, but if we can find it, maybe Mark can find a way for them to sign off that they viewed it. I don't know, we can look at that, but we definitely will explore that and, get back to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question is, if all counties in the state are not open, will the FHSA allow a season to go off in the fall?
That's a good question. So again, I don't know the answer to that question. But that will be a question when we have the leadership meeting, FSAAA leadership meeting on June the 13th. And I would definitely bring that question to the FSAA, because again, that would be something for them to answer.
Travell, can I just add something to that also?
Sure.
Okay, you're bringing up a point about everything being unified throughout the state. And this is one thing that some of the coaches are very concerned about, because like in Palm Beach County, they're saying they're not being allowed to do anything, to go on their campuses to do anything until possibly July 27th, which is the state. That's not being, that doesn't have to be the same in every county in the state. Some of the counties can have you might see their teams now that school's out and it's summer, and FHSAA doesn't control summer. So a private school or schools in other counties in the Panhandle or something, they could be out there with their conditioning, as normal. So there are some inequities across the state. It'll be interesting to see what will go exactly. I understand your questions about the structure of a playoff system, but there are going to be some inequities in the county as to when some things start, just because summer's not regulated. But in Palm Beach County right now, the public schools cannot do anything. That's it.
Thank you. Were there any other questions?
Nothing via that.
All righty. All right, we'll move forward and we will, someone's trying to get back in. We will have our update from the training coordinator. So we'd like to know, I did put in the email that we have appointed Corey Brown as our training coordinator for this year. And I will turn the floor over to him. And Corey, I put some of the stuff that I thought you might want to talk about. Again, you may not talk about any of it, but just some things I know we've had some discussions about. Turn it over to you.
All right. Well, thanks, Travell. Everybody, good evening. Welcome to our 2020 season, the season of unknowns. Just to get started, I do want to touch on the committee members this year. I will be training coordinator, and on the training committee this year will be Chris Matthews, Aaron Neidert, Gerald Parrott, Ronnie Wood, and myself. We have been working to get some things put together for you guys. We do have a curriculum set up. Actually, you all may want to make sure, mark your calendars, the next two training meetings, which are June 22nd and July 6th. We do have some college officials coming in to speak with us, and we're going to start talking about the different rules changes and whatnot after those speakers. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. Reminder, I see Bernard put something in, a reminder for open elections for the advisory board today, and that extends through June 5th. Just a side note, but we will be doing our regular position breakout sessions off of these general meeting calls, so don't be alarmed. We will have training for you guys, and we'll be able to, we're going to try something different this year with keeping everyone together and going over the basics of officiating. We will break out with the first and second year officials. We have additional training. The first couple meetings, it will be via the Zoom meeting. So we've created PowerPoints that you'll be able to view on the meeting. So just make sure you log in. If you're not able to see those PowerPoints, we will get them over to Mark to put on the website for you. When it comes to training we're going to actually have training this year for the JV alternate White Hats. I know in the past, we've kind of let it slip through the cracks, but we want to make sure you guys are up to speed. If there's any information that you need, we're able to provide it for you, as opposed to feeling like you're just being sent out on the field with a bunch of guys that you've never worked with. So we want you to be prepared in the event that happens. Another thing that we are trying this year, we want to have a mentoring program. I would ask the White Hats to step up and be a mentor if you feel that you're up to it, or at least one of the veteran officials to take on. We want the new guys, in the event we go through with the full season, we want them to be able to get out, see how everybody's doing it the same, doing things the same. However, we want them to also see that different crews may communicate differently. They do things maybe a little different, but we're all arriving at the same goal. So that is basically our training in a nutshell. We're trying to get everything done and in order to make sure you guys, if you have any questions, you have someone to go to. Hopefully we'll have covered any questions that you may have during the training this year. And we also do have Jeff Brown, who is volunteered to be our rules interpreter for the season. So if we do have a question on a rule that everyone is going back and forth on, we have a point of contact who will be able to contact the state. That way we don't have multiple people reaching out to the state and everybody has their own different version. We'll have that one contact. He'll be able to contact the state and get back with us to let us know any variances in the rules or questions that we have in regards to these rules. So do we have any questions?
Hey, Corey.
Yes.
Hey, if Justin Lucas is eating like this and doesn't bring enough for everybody, is that really fair?
I think the president will have to take that one up. That doesn't have anything to do with training.
Because, I mean, I'm going to buy the guy a new can of cheese right now, man.
So.
The short answer is yes.
Corey, who's going to be the point person for first and second years? Did you guys have somebody set up for that? I know that was a question that someone asked.
Chris Matthews and Aaron Neidert will be your point people for the first, second year program. They can always contact me, but those two individuals will be leading kind of the charge on bringing our guys up to snuff.
What I'm hoping, so what I like to make sure at the end of this meeting for any new guys that's on this call, I'm not for sure there's going to be, I don't know if there's any new guys, but any of our second year guys, just hang out for a few minutes. We just want to make sure we get your name in contact and make sure we can see, we can get you acclimated. So if you're first or second year person, stay on the call on the Zoom once we dismiss. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Other questions?
One, Corey, question, comment. One thing that you mentioned earlier is that some crews may communicate a little differently. We're all aiming for the same goals. If some teams are communicating differently that we find that are more or better practices than others, is there a way that your training group can also try to incorporate? The more we can align all our communications and mechanics up with each other, I think the better it'll be as an association.
Right, and I agree with you. Definitely. Were you finished?
No, I said both as communications and mechanically. I think that's kind of an initiative of the state, and I think should be with us as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The goal through training this year is for definitely everyone's mechanics to be the same. When it comes to communication, we know people talk differently, but you made a valuable point as far as us trying to talk together, is say things the same way. That way, there's not a whole lot of difference between crews, and they will see, new guys will be able to see the consistency within our varsity crews. So that's definitely a point of emphasis. And I was going to actually mention that when we have our white hat meeting a little bit towards the end, beginning of next month. Any other questions? Terrell?
Okay. Anything, I can't see the chat. Is anything in the chats? Questions in the chat room? Anybody see? I want to make sure I don't miss anything.
Yeah, Travell, we had a one question relative to, I would like to be added as a candidate for the JV alternate white hat program. What steps are necessary for making it so?
So usually usually for there's two things. So for the JV program, again, if you're interested, you email myself and Corey Brown, the training director for the JV. For the alternate white hat, it's a different step. You have to get, to be an alternate white hat, you have to get a letter of recommendation from your current crew chief, and you have to have an evaluation in place. And so we're looking at, like I say, to get our evaluation program off the ground this season. And so we're going to incorporate making sure we allow that. So that's why we wanted to put together our JV and alternate white hat training program, so we can have them right to get the training and get evaluated, so they can get prepared as we, get as many folks that want to get better and be leaders in this association. But we want to make sure you're accurately trained and you are evaluated. So it's twofold. JV, if you're interested, you email myself and Corey Brown, your training coordinator. For alternate white hat, you have to have a recommendation letter from your current crew chief. All right. Any other questions in there you see, Vince?
No, no further.
I do want to remind anybody that's come on just recently to make sure you type your name in the chat box so you can get credit for this meeting. If you're on a phone and you can't access the chat box, just holler out your name real quick and I will make sure you get credit. I'll mark, I do have the attendance sheet to mark you as being here. Okay, we're just about finished up here. Thank you, Corey. And your
Val, can
Yes.
I ask a question? Do we know if we have any new people in attendance tonight? I was just wondering if they knew about this, and when is the next meeting date?
Yeah, we're going to get to that. So I'm not for sure. We only send this out to current, so we have not put in, because of it's hard to get out to do the recruitment like we like to have. But I would say if you guys have any recommendations or anybody that's interested, what we want them to do is to go to the website to get signed up on the website. But we do want new folks to get signed up so we can get the information and we can get get their phone numbers, emails, and get information out to them. So if you know anybody that's new, that's the first step, is to get them to get connected via our website. Is there anybody that's new if you're new on the call right now, hang out after this meeting on this call and we will get, we'll have a touch base with you then. Okay. All right, we'll move to can't see nothing. Just a second.
Travell, while you're doing that, I did forget to mention that also please be aware on the NFHS website, they are offering free training courses up until July 1st. So if you have some free time, I know some guys may think, well, I don't need that. They're kind of basic. Just remember, you build a house from the ground floor up, not from the roof down. So it doesn't hurt to take a look.
Thank you, Corey. All right, so fine, we're almost done. So general reminders, we do have folks, if you're interested in, again, taking active roles in this association. Again, we have openings on our assignment committee, evaluation committee, recommendations, grievance, elections, and hospitality committees. If you're interested, again, you guys are, this is not a one-man or a board show. It takes an entire association to make this organization move. And so we want everybody that's willing to take part, we want you to take part, and we want you to be a part of our committees. And so if you're interested in being part of any one of these committees, please email me your interest, and so we can get you, get you moving. Also, I don't know if Rich Lampy's on here, but you can get it connected through our social media, through Twitter. We do have a Twitter account, ECFOA Refs. We did have a Facebook. I don't know who has control of that, and I may need to get. I think Jason Ursay, we may have to just make a new one. So if you want to get connected, no Twitter is active. Please follow us on Twitter, and we're going to try to maybe set up a Facebook group. There is one out there, but I don't know who controls that Facebook page. That's ECFOA. Again, I've already mentioned about accessing our website. Any issues, you can email Mark Ostroff. And then we will go through to show real quickly how folks can access the virtual clinics through the FSAAA. So folks can just see how to access those virtual clinics coming up. Are there any questions before we get to? All right, so hold on. So first and second year guys, stay online. Our next meeting will be June the 22nd. And I want to show you real quick, so I'm going to take this off of sharing, and I want to make sure I show you one other step. So hold up. We can see everybody now. All right, let's try one more spot here. All right, so if you guys want to get connected to the FSAAA virtual clinics, you go to the FSAAA.org website. Can everybody see that? You see where it says for contest officials, you go to the central hub. You go to, this is their hub, you see where it says sports, click on where it says sports. Go to football. And here you see to register for a Zoom webinar, click on the session below. So they've had 3 sessions already. Their next session will be June 3rd, June 10th, June 17th, and so forth. This is also, again, there's some other things as we talk about virtual learning. This is their official hub that you can access different things that's going on, articles that they may have. So this has a wealth of information that you can utilize during this here downtime, during this summer months to get prepared for the upcoming season. But again, I want to make sure everyone is aware on how to get connected to those virtual clinics to register. Any questions? Oh boy, back on everybody can see here. I can see everybody now. All right. I do see a question here. What the webinars that have already done are available. They are available on the FSAAA YouTube page. So if you want to see those past clinics, they are on the YouTube page, and Mark has posted a couple to our page as well.
Hey, Travell, I got a question.
Sure, go ahead, Ronnie.
We got the presenter for the June 22nd. Do you want him to be ready to go at 6:30? You want him to be ready to go at 7? What time do you want him to be ready?
Let's do it right at the beginning. Let's do it right at the beginning, and then we'll go into our journal. We'll probably have a journal stuff after that, but let's go right at the beginning because I don't want, because it's hard to coordinate in the middle. If that may work, if that sounds good.
All right, time frame, how long do you want him to take? Half an hour, 45 minutes, you tell me.
Let's go for half an hour.
Okay, you got a deal.
Any other questions? So again, good to see everyone. Again, if you have any issues, concerns, please feel free to email me, feel free to call me, or just or get connected with any of our board members. Again, for anything that you have concerns with or you need have questions about. Have a great rest of your evening. Be safe. We'll see you again on June the 22nd. We will send out another Zoom meeting that it will be a different ID and a different code for you to use. So you will not be able to use the same code for our next meeting, but I will send that out and we will post it on the website. Again, have a great evening and good to see everyone. First and second year folks, please stay on the line. Please stay on the line. If this is your first year, second year, please stay on the line.
No, bro. First, Dan gonna have to mess up the thing, and the thing just stopped on his own. So, you know, I'm gonna say that. It's not good.
All right, so who we still have here? Again, if you're this is just for first and second year folks to remain. So make sure I see who's here.
I still got about 18 people.
Yeah.
I'm a third year guy, but I need all the training I can get, so I'm gonna listen.
Okay, stay on in, Chris. Thank you. No problem with that.
Travell, I'm not a new guy, but I'm going to be transferring from Broward. I just got a job up in Palm Beach area, so
Okay,
it's my
good.
fifth year officiating, but I just wanted to introduce myself. So.
Oh, thank you. So good. Is that your Nick? How do you pronounce your last name?
Zwaber. Yeah, Zwaber.
Okay.
But yeah, I already registered on put my information on the website, so I just wanted to see what else.
Okay, good. Okay, so great. So at least we all have your contact information. We set up something for. We try to keep, special transfer so you can get you acclimated to things that's going on with the association. So stay connected when we have the meetings for first and second year. All right, who else? Okay, we got.
I still got 17 people.
Johnny Boy, I see you guys are, Rob Clem, you don't have to stay on unless you don't need to be. Lori, you don't have to stay on.
Bert, that's Mayyard.
Okay, Bert, you don't have to stay on. Vince Mundo, you don't have to stay on. Johnny Boy Davis. Okay. All right, so who's here that's new that we don't know? Anyone, this is your first year?
Do I have to stay on?
No, you do not, Lori. You're good. You don't have to stay on.
All right. All righty. Good night, gentlemen.
All right. Greg Kirk, you don't have to stay on unless you just want to hang out as a board member. You don't have to stay on. All right, so who do we have here? I saw, oh, they're gone. I thought, okay. Anybody new besides Nick? Kevin is a second year. Andy Nanagers is second year. Chris Conway, you say this is your third year? Chris, you say this is
Correct.
Conway? Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And Nick, you say this is you have 5 years experience?
Yep, this is my 5th year. Yep.
Okay. All right. Could you we all like to have, if you get someone from your the Browerts again, give you a letter recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Make
I
sure
was on Vince Mundo's crew, and then last year I was on Bob Clem, so I can
Okay.
I'll talk to them. Yep.
Gotcha. All right. All right. So yeah. So basically, it's no one knew. There was somebody else I seen on here. I don't know who that was. It was It was a lady. I don't know who that was.
I think she was just disconnecting for somebody else.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah. So we'll have to, so we got some folks, second year folks, so we need to definitely get connected with. But there's no basic first year guys for you, Corey. So you want to talk to them, anything like that? I just want to make sure we can have see who's here and so forth.
Well,
One second, Travell, 1 second. Hey, Nick, I tried to activate your account. I think the website is down. So as soon as I get it back on, I'll activate it, and then you can log in. All right?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So
I'm out.
Again, I'll be the training coordinator for the year. The first and second year guys, you will be working with Chris Matthews and Aaron Neidert, who are very good officials. They'll be able to work you through. And also, if you should have any questions, you can always email myself or one of those guys. They'll be able to get you an answer leading up to the next training session. And we can present some of the questions that you may have to the whole group, because someone else may have the same questions. Do you guys have any questions about going into the season as of right now? No questions? Well, I mean, again, we look forward to having you guys here. Hopefully we get some football so we can get you guys all on the field, and we'll move forward with the next training at the next meeting. Bernard, do you want to say anything more about a signing when it comes to the younger officials for the JV games?
Okay, welcome on board, gentlemen. Certainly we looking to increase our numbers. Are either you or both of you familiar with the Arbiter assigning tool? Let's see, and it's not, Nick, you're both cool. So it's basically, it is assigned through the Arbiter system. If you are limited as far as positions, or even if not limited, but have a preference, trying to develop as an umpire, back judge, or whatever the case, if you send me or get me that information, we would try to fill you in those slots, okay? But on the JV levels and below, the referee on that game has the liberties to assign you to a different position. Sometimes you may be a good umpire, but the crew might need something else that day. So they have that flexibility to move you around as best needed. My recommendation would be to learn as many of the positions as you possibly can, as well as you can. The more flexibility that you have, the more opportunities you'll be seen, and the easier it's going to be to move up, find a niche on the solid crew and the like. Okay. So I don't know how the Broward pay system worked, but we had a window after the games. I think within like every 15 days, the school district had agreed to pay out. And so we're saying at least give us, after the signed games, that following week before we load them in. And depending upon where that fall on the payouts, the checks still mailed directly from the schools. Same as with the private schools there. Any question any gentlemen have for me? Once we get the systems up and you're registered, we load you into the Arbiter setup. You'll get a link or email to confirm that you're good to go. Once we're there, you're set to be assigned. That's my recommendation. Like I said earlier, is to go in and make sure that you utilize the calendar to put in your availability schedule as far as dates you close or partial dates, or you're working and you can't work before a particular hour, the more information that we have set up in the system, the easier it'll be to get you plugged in. Okay. Again, welcome on board. If you have no questions for me.
All righty. Well, we'll see everyone again on the 22nd. Have a great evening.
Have a good one.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good hearing you, Yetter. You sound great.
Well, I don't know about sounding great, but it is good to hear your voices. I can tell you that.
Okay. Hey, Corey, quick
Yes.
recommendation. Looking at the training tools that's already in place with the FHSAA with the National Federation, look at some of those videos, and then you may, since they're talking about putting them online, give it out as assignments and let them look up, information that's on there that's shared, and maybe come up with some feedback questions for discussions or something like that. Might be something easy that you can incorporate into your training.
Sounds good. I know I watched a couple of them.
Yeah.
So they are some pretty good basic information.
So I would like to assign them, say, hey, this week or next week, the discussion is going to be around video. Your homework is to look at the video, and then you come up with either quiz questions or discussion questions that can help facilitate your training session.
That sounds good. I will definitely do that. I'll get with Chris and Aaron and get that moving forward. Definitely.
Sounds good. All right. Good.
And we can work with Mark to make sure they can get it clearly from the website if they can't get it through YouTube.
Okay.
Guys, job well done on this first week. Job well done.
Thank you, guys.
Job well done.
We appreciate it there, Mr. Kirkwood.
Thank you, Mr. Kirkwood.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
All right. Get off of it. All right, have a good evening, everyone. I'm going to close it out here.